Hello and welcome. I'm Anthony with SEMplicity. We are back with another Elasticsearch video. Today we are going over cat commands. These are essential for every old and new Elasticsearch user. This trips up a lot of clients, so I just wanted to make a video going over the ins and outs and give you something that you can, copy and paste into Dev Tools, and you can have all your commands already ready for when you need them. So CAT stands for Compact and Aligned Text APIs. These are going to give you insights into your cluster. And what I wanted to do was pick out the 10 or so most useful, kind of everyday commands and show them to you, show them why they're useful, because, if you first get into Elasticsearch, it might be overwhelming to look at all these different commands, and sometimes they don't make sense. Things aren't straightforward. So that's what I wanted to do today. So I'm going over, a bunch of these commands. They will all be in the description. So hope you enjoy. You can copy and paste this, put this into your dev tools, and then use them however you like. To start off with two not cat commands. These are just commands good to know, good to have at the ready. Let's say you are managing a bunch of different clusters and you're in and out of them. Let's say a bunch of them are different versions. A very simple command a lot of people forget is that in order to see something like the cluster name or the version, you don't need to do anything crazy. Really, you just need the shortest command ever, which is just the slash, and it'll tell you things like the version, the name, the UUID, and stuff like that. So, and that along with cluster health, this is going to tell you, just a very quick snapshot of the cluster. How's it looking? How healthy is it? If it's green, that means everything's more or less fine or dandy. If it's yellow, you're missing a replica. If it's red, you're missing a primary. So this will tell you, okay, are all my shards accounted for? Are any of them, orphaned? Where is everything? Is everything in place? Now let's get into the actual cat commands. So I have a very basic cat command here, which is get cat nodes. This is going to, if you just do any cat command, it'll give you something like this. A bunch of columns, unlabeled. You don't really know what they mean. What on earth are all these, what are all these letters? This is, just the default. So in order to give a little bit more context, is typically in cat commands, we will have something like $V, which will reveal the headers. So this tells you, what do those columns mean? We have the IP address, we have the heap, we have the node roles, whether or not it's a master or an instance. So that is wonderful. A lot of the times you will see a cat command with, if you maybe look on Stack Overflow or something, or Elasticsearch's Discuss forum, you'll see a long list of a bunch of, random letters and symbols that might not, something that looks like this maybe, or something like this, a long cat command. How do they know what to use? How do they know what's available to them? How you do that is with, or how you know that is with this help command. So this will tell you all the different data that's available to you with each cat command. So here I'm using get cat nodes, and if I do $help or $help equals true, I can see everything basically. So I could know, things that I see in the default, like whether it's a name, what the name is. I could see, okay, how many, request cache hits did I get? How many, deletes, indexing deletes did I have on that node? What are my merge times? You don't have to, you shouldn't activate all of these headers at once, but this is, if you're missing something, or if there's something going wrong with your cluster and you want some deeper detail than just, the basics, this is what you're going to look at. And especially if you don't have some sort of chart at the ready, this is going to give you exactly what is happening at the time of these nodes, indices, whatever you want to use the cat command for. This is what it is. So as you can see, it's very long. It's around like 100 different stats that you can. So this is the actual stat that we're looking at, suggest time. And then in order to use it in a header, you're going to use either SUIT. Oh, I can't, I'm dyslexic today. SUT. And if you look over here, you'll be able to tell how to actually use them and what they are. So if you wanted the suggest time, let's say, you would put in a header section. So here we have the question mark v, and we have how you use both is with this ampersand, and h equals the list of stuff that you want to see. So let's say I wanted to see name, how long the node's been up, and this suggest time. I'd say SUTI. I do something like that, and then I get the name, the uptime, and the suggest time. Wonderful. So I could do that as long as I could make these headers as long as I want. Let's say I also wanted the port. I do question, comma. What would I do? I'd look at port. I'd see PO. PO. Wonderful. PO. Let's see what port these guys are on. Oh, look, it's these guys. Awesome. And I can go down the list and see what's available, and maybe it'll be helpful to you. Something that a lot of people don't realize about the getcat nodes is this right here, this node roles. So what do these mean? Some people, they forget. It's in the documentation. I just wanted to have it here. Maybe this is something good to have hand. Here I have HIMRST. What on earth does that mean? It means you look at this this ledger, and you'll see, oh, H means hot node, I means it's also provisioned to be an ingest node, and it has the role of a master eligible, and it has the role of a, what's R? R is remote client cluster. This is what the node's role is, and you can go down the list and see. And if you ever wanted to know what the primary master is, you'd look at what this star is. Only one node is ever going to have that, and that's what this tells you. So wonderful, we have basic information about our nodes. Let's go down into our indices. How can we use getcat commands for indices? So similarly, like I was saying before, everything, if you use $v or $v equals true, you're going to get this beautiful snapshot of information. Let's take a closer look at it. So we have whether or not the index is green. We have the actual names of all the indices. We have things like how many documents are in it, how many are in how big is the actual index. If you wanted to filter out the indices, so let's say I just wanted things with NER in them, the only regex that's available here is star, so you could do something like star, NER star. Anything with NER anywhere in the name is going to show up here, and that are just these. So these are the indices from the last video, and that's something you can do. So we can filter stuff out. It also works for the nodes. So if you wanted certain instances names or node names, this is what you would do. Some commands it'll work for, some commands it won't. You'd have to check the documentation for that. This is something that's available. So for here, similarly to the nodes, I went here and I saw, okay, what information is available to me. And I saw, okay, let's say I wanted something, let's say I just wanted the general health of an index. That's not the default stuff, and I wanted to maybe shrink the information down. I want the name of the index, I want the health of it, I want the status, this is whether or not it's open or closed, how many primaries, how many replicas, and then this ss ampersand v. So this ss, let's say I forget what that is. I can go here to getcat indices. Let's say I got this off of Stack Overflow or something, or a discussion. I'd go here and I'd say, okay, what is ss? Oh look, ss is the storage size. It's the store size of primaries and replicas. Okay, wonderful. So that's the total size of our index. Cool. So, and this is all what it is. Let's say maybe I wanted to delete I'm going around, picking up trash. I want to make space for other stuff in my cluster, and I want to sort. This is another thing you can do. You can sort by any thing that you see in the help section. So let's say I wanted to find the biggest index in my cluster so that I can think about deleting it. I do this, and look at that. Oh, what's this? I forget what all the columns say or mean. Well, what I can do is I can say ampersand v equals true. now look at that. Everything's there. And what I can do is I can take this to a much nicer section, to a much nicer text editor, and I can look and see, okay, what's the biggest index here? Oh look, it's this guy with 699 documents. I mean, that's how, gigabytes, I mean bytes, megabytes, sorry. This search Elastic Docs Tony. Do I need it? Maybe I do, maybe I don't, but this will tell me, okay, what index should I look at? Maybe chop it if I don't need it. Wonderful. Maybe I want a bunch of stats related to indexing. How are my indices with indexing? I picked out a bunch of headers that might be useful for that. Look, I'd go here and check it out. And similarly, I could look at the help page and see what all of these mean and why they're useful. And then I also have something with search. Look at all these search specific categories. I can pick and choose what headers I want in order to give a certain story about my cluster, about my indices, or whatever I'm looking at. Let's say I want to know how my thread pools are. This is what actions my cluster is taking, and what the kind is, and what node is associated with it. These thread pools are responsible for, yeah, what is your cluster doing? Is it searching? Is it indexing? Is it doing some background ML operation? What is active? Is the whole cluster asleep? As you can see with mine, this is just a dev cluster, so none of it's really going to be, nothing's going on. Let's say, so again, similarly with this, I could do something like getcat thread pool, ?help. I can see, look, these are all the things that thread pools can give me, and I can look at them and do analysis based on that. Let's say I wanted to see what's something useful here. Oh, the size. How big can my threads get? Maybe I'd look at this and see, okay, how many queries per second can I get with all my search threads and whatnot? So what I do is I take the node name, the name of the actual thread, the active, queued, and rejected categories, and then I put this ss&v. And then let's see, okay, how big can my cluster's threads get? How strong are they? If you wanted me to go deeper as to like, okay, how would I actually use this in production? That's a different story, but this is how you display it. So wonderful, I have all my headers. Let's see, what if I have some sort of problem with the cluster? This is also very helpful for debugging. So I have get cat allocation. This is going to tell me where are all of my shards allocated. It looks like, here, everything is on either 005 or 004. This is by node. Let's say I wanted to know the general health, the general shard. Let's say I wanted to know what are the specific problems with an unassigned shard. Sometimes shards get unassigned for a variety of different reasons. Elasticsearch isn't going to, hand you on a silver platter by default. Okay, what is this shard, in trouble for? So I'm going to force a yellow cluster real quick by telling this index to have more replicas than it can have. So if you have enough, as you know, you can't have, 20 primaries and 20 replicas on 3 nodes, for example. A bunch of them are going to be homeless or orphaned. So sadly, they have no place to go. That is causing my cluster to be yellow. So look at that. Look at all these unassigned shards. I have 4 unassigned shards. What if I want deeper insight besides cluster health on those? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at _cluster allocation explain, and it's going to tell me, oh look, this guy is unassigned, and the reason is because a replica was added. And then it tells you a little description as to why that's not okay. Because these shards need a place to go, and these nodes get too crowded. What if I wanted a shard by shard analysis of this? Well, what I can do is I can go to help, and I can see, okay, what is useful? Oh look, I have an unassigned reason. I have an unassigned at and an unassigned for. I have all these things related to unassigned shards. Maybe I should put them in a in the headers, and then I can look and see, okay, what index is the shard, attached to? What is the labeling of the shard? Is it a primary or a replica? Is it unassigned, started, closed? What's going on with this? And then it'll tell me what is the reason, when was it unassigned at, and then what was this again? See, sometimes even when I forget. Oh, how long it was unassigned for. Yeah, and I'm gonna read the description and see. Time it is, yeah, time it has been unassigned. Okay, cool. Now I know the reason. Wonderful. And then what I can do is I can, fix everything, and then I can do this get cat shards again and see, look, all my unassigned shards are gone. Wonderful. Let's say I wanted to know the tasks that are going on in the cluster, and sometimes these tasks take forever. Maybe I want insight into them. I'm going to just force a task. So let's say I have this. I would use the get tasks command. And I'd see, okay, what is going on with certain tasks. You can force a task label by using this question mark wait for completion false. Some commands this will work for, some it won't. But this is very useful to see, okay, what's going on? What action is it doing? How close is it to being done? What is, give me more information about it, as opposed to just, oh, I'm working on it. So that's, and you can also filter it by node. So what node is performing the task? What tasks have it completed before? Stuff like that. So yeah, those are the quick and dirty commands that will hopefully be useful to you in your cluster. Again, you can copy and paste all of these commands. Hopefully that was a quick and useful showcase of what cat commands can do and how to use them. There is way more that you can do with them. There's a lot of other stuff like adding formatting and how to display time, stuff like that. But those are the most useful things about them, and with that you can do anything with them. Really, if you want to look at this data from a different angle, really you should be using some sort of charting mechanism, whether it be Kibana or something like that, where you can have this continuous view of what your cluster kind of looks like, as opposed to this, which is giving, for things like node stats, maybe it's not as useful because it's like, okay, you're really just putting a magnifying glass into one point in time, when really, in order to diagnose problems, you should see things more continuously. But things for like get cat indices, those maybe aren't moving quite as fast. So it's easier to see things, and like we did with the size example, that's something that you could totally do, and it's very useful to have that. So yeah, hopefully that was useful, and thank you so much.